Yeah, man. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm just here checking to make sure that everything works well. You know how it is when you do live TV. Yeah, things go wrong. I remember a few weeks ago, I was here chatting up a storm and I realized that I was on mute on the computer here. So I was just making sure, and I saw a little notice about the fact that I lost internet connection, which doesn't make sense to me. So I'm hardwired now and I should be good. Great to be able to hang out with all of you again. Greetings to my peeps over there on Instagram, Claire and Felicia and the rest of the gang. Um, hey, it's Wednesday. What can I say? It's the best day of the week, hump day, and as usual, we get a chance to hang out, and I'm always looking forward to doing that. Grateful for the opportunity to do that. So thank you for joining. This morning, I want to tell you a story, though. I want to tell you a story that has been told about 6,000 times by a gentleman called Russell Conwell. Russell Conwell told the story and used it to transform a small Philadelphia night school that was in a basement into Temple University. And this story is about another gentleman. It's a parable. I don't think it's true at all, but I think there are some really important messages in there, which I'm gonna yeah, touch on, share some insights on in a minute. But yeah, so this guy, his name was Al Hafed. He was a really wealthy farmer in ancient Persia. The dude had it all, man. He had a really productive farm. He had a beautiful wife on his arm. He had, amazing, healthy children. The best camels money could buy, because back then they didn't have luxury cars, right? So he couldn't afford a Tesla. Or didn't have Teslas, right? So yeah, the best camels money could buy. I mean, just lots of assets. He had it good. He was living his dream life. He was the kind of guy that everybody wished they could be like. And then one day, he was visited by a Buddhist monk, and they got to talking about all kinds of things. The monk was laying some knowledge on Al Hafed, and they talk about how the world was formed and all that good stuff. And then the priest brings up this thing called a diamond, and he told Al Hafed that, man, if you had just a handful of diamonds, you could own a country. Whoa, that caught his attention. But even better yet, if you had a mine of diamonds, if you own a diamond mine, you could literally own the world. You'd have so much wealth and influence that you'd be able to put your kids, just place them on thrones around the world. And that really got Al Hafed's attention. So that night, the dude, Al Hafed, went to bed a poor man. A poor man. Not because he had lost anything. He went to bed a poor man because he was discontented. And he was discontented because he thought he was poor. He realized as he looked at his life that he did not own a handful of diamonds, let alone a diamond mine. And so he went to bed discontented. He went to bed a poor man, a guy who, by all objective metrics of the day, would have been a really wealthy man, right? And it kind of goes back to the conversation about on the fact that wealth is actually in our minds. Anyway, he had a sleepless night. He was restless, and he woke up the next morning because he had this desire to be immensely rich, and he went back to the priest and said, man, how do I find these diamonds? I really want to be rich. And the priest said, oh, the diamonds, you're going to find them in a river that runs over white sand between mountains. And with that bit of information, Al Hafed sells his farm. He sold his farm. He leaves his wife in the charge of a neighbor, and he goes off to go find his diamonds, right? His acres of diamonds, which is kind of the theme of this morning's conversation. Acres of diamond. He owned many acres of farmland, and so he goes off to go find diamonds, leaving his family behind. Um, Needless to say, the search took many years, and an extensive, exhaustive search across Palestine and across Europe. And in the end, he finds himself penniless, ragged, wretched, and perhaps most importantly, hopeless. Yeah, he ran out of hope, and that's one of the worst places any of us could be, hopeless. And so he was at the end of his rope, and so he throws himself over some cliff into the ocean off the coast of Spain, never to be heard of again. In the meantime, back on the farm, the new owner of the farm is watering his camel at a stream. Al-Hafed had a stream that ran through his farm. And while the new owner is there watering his camel, he sees this black stone and he picks it up, and there's kind of a glint of light that shines through the stone, that you're able to see all the colors of the rainbow. And it turned out that, guess what? Yeah, you guessed right. That was a diamond. That was a diamond that he found on the property that Al-Hafed gave up to go search the world, trying to find diamond in a river in between mountains running over white sand. And so it turned out that, as the story goes, every shovel full from that farm was diamonds, right? They said it was a Golconda mine. And I'm not sure how true that is. I would need to do some more work on that, because I think the Golconda mines were in India. In any event, it's a parable, right? There was just so many diamonds that ended up decorating the thrones of monarchs around the world. Sad story for Al-Hafed, sad ending. The most amazing and tragic element of the story, though, I believe, is the fact that we have so many modern day Al-Hafeds wandering aimlessly, searching for their acres of diamonds. And they're searching everywhere except under their own feet. They're searching everywhere except in the backyard of their own mind, right? Not so they can mine all of this diamond in their mind. But instead of doing that, they spend the world wandering, looking, trying to figure out, where am I going to find my acres of diamond? So under your feet, friend, it's in your own mind, it's in your own backyard. And so I want to share with you three ideas this morning as to how you can prevent yourself from becoming a modern day Al-Hafed, right? So as usual, let me jump over to the banners for my friends over here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and so on. So the first thing that you can do, I think, in finding your acres of diamond below your own feet or under your own feet in the backyard of your own mind, is that you have to change your perspective. Number one, change your perspective, friend. One of the perhaps one of the more valuable lessons from this story is one of perspective, right? How do you see yourself? How do you see the circumstances that you find yourself in? Look, it doesn't matter who you are, how amazing your life is, it's never going to be perfect, right? And Al-Hafed obviously had an amazing life, right? He was a really wealthy man with an amazing family, etc., etc. But somehow he didn't think that he had enough, right? And so if you're only thinking about your problems and your sorrows, that's exactly what you're going to get, right? There's a old proverb that says that, hey, instead of complaining that the rose bush is full of thorns, be happy that the thorn bush has roses, right? So, right, Claire? So, yeah, expressing some gratitude for the goodness that you have, that you do, that does exist in your life, right? So stop thinking, if you're only thinking about the problems and the sorrows and the challenges, that's exactly what you're going to attract in your life. That's what you're going to find, right? So if you change your perspective and you start thinking about the solutions and the opportunities, then you're sending out a very different vibration, right? Everything in life is energy, right? And so you set out a very different vibration that attracts abundance, right? You start to see the goodness, you start to see the things that are working for you in your life, as opposed to the things that you lack, right? So how are you seeing yourself? How are you perceiving the circumstances that you find yourself in? And today, unfortunately, we have so many things that influence our perspective, right? Social media, and I'm not here to beat on social media right now. I'm using social media, right? But we know the messages that are out there in social media as well, and oftentimes people will see other people living the grand life and go, oh my God, they're having such an amazing life, and my life sucks. We follow all these influencers and we're trying to be like them, as opposed to, use them as inspiration, absolutely, but chart our own way. And unfortunately for Al Hafed, that Buddhist monk was his equivalent of today's social media. And I'm not here to, I'm not beating up social media, as I said. I'm not beating up the monk either. All the monk did was provide some information that he had. All social media is doing today is providing some information that's out there, or their perspective. The challenge with Al Hafed is not the information that he got, is how he perceived that information vis-a-vis his current situation, right? And so that's our challenge as well. How are you viewing the information out there versus your own situation, right? Those gemstones, those diamonds that he went in search of, in a way, are the attitudes that you and I develop, right? And with the right attitude, we're able to see our situation more clearly. We're able to appreciate our circumstances, and hence, just become, I think, so much more clear, so much clearer about what it is that we want, what our purpose is, and with a little bit of gratitude, not even a ton, just a little bit of gratitude, we're able to appreciate what we have. It doesn't mean that you don't strive for more. I'm not suggesting that, right? I talk about keep on pushing. But you don't see yourself so dire that you throw away everything that you have going for you for naught. So that's number one. Changing your perspective. Number two, recognize that opportunities, my friends, come dressed in work clothes, right? Opportunities, I talk about this all the time, come dressed in work clothes. The opportunities to achieve what you want in life are coming to you. They're there. Some people say you create them, and I believe that, but they're there. They come to you more often than you realize. The reason why those opportunities don't always turn into experiences, though, is that the experiences that you're hoping for, it has to do with whether or not you're ready for the opportunity. It has to do with how you perceive opportunity to look like in the first place, right? I often say that when people hear the term opportunity, they conjure up this image in their mind of a present, a gift that is nicely wrapped in this beautiful paper with a neat bow tied on top, and all you have to do is untie the bow, tear the paper off, and you enjoy the contents therein. And friends, no, that's where you go wrong, right? Opportunities are always dressed in work clothes. They're come dressed in coveralls. I think Thomas Edison says, and look like work. So when you're looking for opportunity as something that is dressed nicely in a package with a bow, um, and it doesn't turn out that way, then yeah, it's not what you're expecting, and so you ignore the opportunity, right? So you want a great job, um, and an opportunity comes for you to put yourself in line for this amazing job, right? But it's again, it didn't come wrapped and tied in a bow. You want your a great relationship. Again, it requires work, and it's not what you expect, right? You kind of expect, I don't know, Prince Charming, or did I say Cinderella? I don't know. I don't know what the equivalent of Prince Charming, the female equivalent of Prince Charming is. But yeah, you want this great relationship, and you're not ready, willing to put the work in. And so you miss out. We miss out all the time on all these avenues by which we could realize our dreams and live our an amazing life, because we think that opportunity, because the opportunity doesn't look like we expected. We don't think that we should roll our sleeves up, right? So recognize that your expectations lead to the actions which create the experience. So if you have a certain whatever that expectation is going to allow you to take action, which creates the results or the experience, right? So recognize, just like Al Hafed, that your greatest opportunities lie below your feet. Your greatest opportunities are in the backyard of your mind, right? They lie in your intellect. They lie in your talents and your abilities, man. They lie in your education and your experience, right? I often say, keep on pushing is about how you take your existing skill set and knowledge and experience and apply it to this dynamic environment in which we live, in order to create or take advantage of opportunities, right? So recognize that your talents, your experiences, your intellect, all that's where your opportunities are. Your opportunities lie in your contacts, your friends, your business contacts, your family members. That's where it is, right? What's the problem? What is the challenge? I think the challenge, again, is that we don't opportunities always turn up in work clothes, right? We go to the jewelry store and we see this amazingly beautiful, really expensive rock called a diamond. Is that what it looked like in the beginning? No, it was a dark piece of coal. Coal and diamond is actually the same. My chemistry friends will tell that have the same compounds, right? One went under a little bit more pressure. That's another conversation, and it gets transformed into this beautiful rock, right? But not in the beginning. You have to cut it, you have to polish it, you have to shape it, right? Polish it repeatedly, right? That's the work to create this valuable stone, and that's what we need to do. The Al-Hafeds of today are waiting around for the opportunities to turn up. They are looking for the easy way out. And so my challenge, my encouragement to you is, hey, roll those sleeves up, baby, and get busy. So recognize that opportunities always turn up in work clothes. And number 3, identify your area of excellence. Identify your area of excellence. Identify the things that you can do well. I believe, there are some amazing people out there, right? And we see them in social media, we see them in the news, how they have excelled in a particular area. Every single one of us has the ability to excel in one particular area as well, right? I think we all have this one thing that we are better at than anybody else we know. You have to identify what that is for you, right? You can't be trying to be like everybody else. I was about to say, you can't be scanning the news, scanning social media to see what everybody else is good at, and then do that. Hey, maybe that might inspire you to go down a certain path, but it has to be your path, right? You can be inspired by someone, but recognize that the talents that you have, the desires that you have, the interests that you have is going to be a little bit different from the ones that I have. And so you have a responsibility to figure out what that is for you. I don't know. Is it speaking? Is it teaching? Is it sports? Is it accounting? Is it painting? Is it writing? It's for you to find out, man. It is for you to find out. We all have tremendous potential, but remember that the marketplace isn't going to pay you for that potential. So they pay you for the performance. Some of you may go, no, Devon, the marketplace does pay you for potential. When you look at, athletes who are drafted into whatever sports league and they're paid millions of dollars for the potential. Well, okay, fine. But they had to perform at the level that they were at in the first place, so that the marketplace will go, you know what? He or she is performing. And I love the way they're performing. And based on this level of performance, I think that in the future, they're going to be worth X or Y or Z. And so that's your challenge as well, to recognize that the marketplace will pay you for your performance, not your potential. And so it is your responsibility to find out where that potential is, where that area of excellence is, what that one thing that you're really good at, that if you put the work in, take advantage of the opportunities, stop worrying so much about the things that aren't working so well for you, that you could be amazing, right? And there are so many examples of that today in society, right? You're on social media, so you can figure out who those are. So all of us are standing on our own acres of diamond, right? We have our own acres of diamond in our backyards, and we need to stop wandering around so much and get focused on what it is that we have inside of ourselves in order to become all that we can be. So yeah, those, my friends, are the thoughts I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for joining in. As always, looking forward to hanging out with you next week. Bring a friend, spread the word, and don't forget to join me over on YouTube, man. YouTube.com/keep on pushing always. Have some amazing people there that I think you would benefit in hearing from. So until we connect next time, you know what you should be doing, right? Keep on pushing, baby. Keep on pushing.